Good afternoon. This is Burton Keller. I'd like to welcome you to Delta Data's webinar this afternoon. Before we get started, we have a few housekeeping items. The webinar will last about 30 minutes. All participants will be muted on the phone, but we encourage your questions or comments submitted via the questions pane in the GoToWebinar. We will not have a formal Q&A session today, but we'll reach out to those who submit questions directly after the webinar concludes. Also, today's webinar is being recorded and will be made available to all attendees. Joining me today is Jason Davenport. Jason is Vice President and Product Development of all products on the investment management side of our business. Let's have a brief overview of what we will be covering in today's webinar. We're going to talk about the evolution of fund-to-intermediary communications and why a change is needed. We will discuss the benefits of FundBlast for fund companies, and then Jason will give you a brief demo. We will close with some key takeaways, and then what are the next steps. Back in the day, before emails, fund maintenance changes were sent out via the fax machine, hence the term blast fax, as the fax machine blasted out hundreds of faxes at a time to a fund's distribution partners. When email became the predominant means of communication, then the blast fax was replaced with the blast email. And that is where we've been stuck for years until today. Today we're going to show you the future of fund and firm communications. We've moved from the blast fax to the email blast and now to FundBlast. So we've been stuck with this 1980s technology for years. So why change now? What is the driver? The real driver for change has come not from the fund side, but from the distribution side. The current blast email process on the receiving or firm side is a high-risk, high-cost proposition that, one, requires multiple individuals to be included on a fund's distribution list, as many areas within a firm are usually affected by these fund changes, but with no systematic way to be assured that all parties read the email and made the appropriate changes. Number two, in many firms, up to 3 individuals are required to read each email to determine if the changes are applicable to their platform, as well as discern which data points are affected, and to be assured they're all in agreement that they've interpreted the email correctly. Thirdly, once the firm has clarification of the effects of the change, usually after multiple clarifying emails with the fund, then another set of individuals now have to key in the changes to the affected downstream systems. At the end of the day, the risk, both financial and reputational, of missing a change or applying it incorrectly is just too great when utilizing the existing email process. Let's say the average fund sends out 3 notifications a month to an average of 150 intermediary relationships. Our research shows there's an average of 5 clarifying communications per intermediary per event. This generates hundreds of follow-up communications to you, the fund, each month, which consumes both time and resources. FundBlast is designed to virtually eliminate the countless hours spent with the follow-up that occurs nearly every time a change is sent out via email. And this doesn't take into account the time, the cost, and expense to the intermediaries. Those intermediaries are receiving anywhere from 300 to 900 emails a month. Now, these may be only a third applied to a particular individual intermediary. Sifting through the emails to determine the applicability can take hundreds or thousands of hours for each intermediary per year. And then when you factor in the time spent with the clarifying emails, it's even more time. So you can see the savings alone for the industry is immense if we can move as an industry to a more efficient process. In order to create an industry utility that would get widespread adoption, we knew it had to provide an improved process reduced cost, and reduced risk for both sides, the distributors of the funds as well as the funds themselves. It cannot be just an improvement for the dealers and the issues they face. It also had to deliver an improvement to the existing processes for the fund companies. So over an 18-month period, we worked with a number of fund companies to build and test a user interface that addresses key issues with existing processes utilized by funds for sending out fund maintenance changes. Briefly, these included a structured data entry format organized by event type that establishes dependencies for all data points required by a particular change event, a customizable approval workflow that allows changes to be entered in advance and approved by one or multiple individuals within the fund before the event can be published, the ability to send out dealer-specific changes in addition to industry-wide changes, the ability to load and maintain contacts and distribution lists, to provide an archive record of all change events to include the approval sign-offs for audit purposes, the preloading of all of a fund company's funds, share classes, and intermediary relationships prior to onboarding, and finally, provide all of this with a subscription pricing model that comes at a very nominal price point. So the need for intermediaries to reduce their risk and cost in reading and interpreting fund change emails, along with the requirement to improve the process on the fund side, has led us to the development of FundBlast. So what exactly is FundBlast? What does it do? How does it improve on the current email process in effect today? FundBlast is Delta Data's web-based connection portal that allows for secure communication between the funds and intermediaries. It provides a secure, controlled, auditable, workflow-enabled process around your fund change communications. Its structured data format eliminates ambiguity, thus saving time spent answering clarified emails from intermediaries. And FundBlast aligns your processes with several dealers that have adopted FundBlast as their preferred method for receiving fund maintenance changes. Before we jump into the demo, just a reminder, submit any questions you may have in the questions pane on the GoToWebinar, or you can send your questions to sales@deltadatasoft.com. So with that, I'll now turn over to Jason to provide a demo of our FundBlast portal.
Thanks, Burton.
All right, thank you, Jason. So you can see that was a quick overview of taking one event type and one change type and walking through the 5-step process. So it's a very intuitive process, very easy. Create your audit trail and create your PDF for you. Let's briefly talk about a few takeaways here. So FundBlast is a new, streamlined, secure way to communicate your fund maintenance changes to intermediaries. It aligns your communication processes with several major omnibus broker-dealers and sub-accounting platforms that have adopted FundBlast as their preferred method of receiving fund maintenance changes. In addition to communicating with Delta Data intermediary clients, FundBlast can replace your existing email communication process to all your intermediaries. Product data and distribution relationship information is preloaded, which allows for a rapid onboarding process. And as far as next steps, we'll follow up with an email to attendees with a link to today's webinar. Any questions submitted today via the GoToWebinar questions pane or email to us will be answered as soon as possible. If you're interested in receiving updates on FundBlast in the future or want a more in-depth demo, please sign up on the FundBlast page on our website located under Oversight Counterparty Communications, or by using the web address you see on the screen. Some of you may have already signed up for a detailed demo previously, and we're scheduling these now. Look for more details via email. And lastly, for those of you who are ready to get started with FundBlast, all of today's webinar attendees will receive a link to register. The registration link will include our standard subscription agreement as well as pricing. We are available to walk you through the process and answer any questions you may have. This concludes our webinar for today. We thank you for your interest in this topic and appreciate your attendance. Thank you.